mental health stigma real? And why do some Black people feel scared to share their mental health struggles or mental health illness?
My name's Emily. I'm a therapeutic counsellor, and I've worked in mental health and therapy for over 25 years. And through that experience, the lived experience that I've had, not just through my work, but on my own lived experience, as living in a Black family, we are always told that children should be seen and not heard. So we start from the ground up. We start telling our children that, you know, they shouldn't be speaking out. They shouldn't be, I guess, sharing things that are concerning them and so on. And I worked with a lot of families who, because of this inherited behavior and these inherited beliefs, their children and them are now suffering because there's, I guess, a stigma about communicating, and not just with other people, but within the family itself. We're told that, you know, we need to respect our elders, and by doing this, we need to remain silent. Our Black men are told that they need to be strong and silent, and not share their emotions, which has developed in our Black men having a much higher percentage of suicide rates, because they don't have that option to open up and speak, because they've been told for so many years not to do that, because that doesn't represent what a Black man should be. A lot of the stigma comes from various places. There's a lot of contributing factors, but I will say a lot of them come from within the family unit, from our traditions, from our culture, from our beliefs, which are not helping us to be expressive and explore and share. And I 100% concur with Esther and Victoria. And I think, Prudence, you may have mentioned it as well, that within our community, you know, we are told over and over again to not share your business. Don't tell nobody what's happening in your family, you know, don't bring shame on the family. And again, mental health, not only in the sense of it being deemed as witchcraft or anything like that, but also just it has the connotation of the word, the famous word crazy, and that there's something, you know, drastically wrong with you, and we don't want anyone else to know, so let's keep it quiet and let's not talk about it. Let's sit on it and pretend it's not happening. I've had a number of, especially Black men, who have come to, I guess, finally get the courage, I would say, because it does take courage to come and talk to someone. And when they do, the floodgates are opened, because they're finally given themselves permission. And I think because of, especially with, I guess, when it came to the Black Lives Matter and the rise of the interest in mental health, it almost became fashionable. And that kind of was utilized as a gateway for people to start accessing mental health services and seeing that it was okay to talk. And I think the more we do it, the better. The more we do it, we will have a better understanding of the use that it is to us. The same way that we go to the doctors or the dentist and so on, we need to look after our mind, body, and soul. And part of that is through therapy, it's through talking. So give yourselves permission. I think that's what we need to do more. And we need to teach our children that they have the right to do that as well. And that's the way to break the stigma.
So do we have any other thoughts on why do we feel so scared, especially if, as a Black person, we've received a mental illness diagnosis, why we feel so scared to tell anybody that?
Good evening, everybody. So my name is Nathan, and I am the Community Outreach Manager at the Lewisham, Greenwich, Southwark branch of the Samaritan. The words community, communities, and stigma have less power, I would say. I think that we probably use the words a little bit too loosely. I think with stigma, I think that has very, I wouldn't say spiritual, but religious connotations to me. And I feel that in terms of stigma, I feel that is where a lot of the, if you want to use it, I do feel like really a lot of religious institutions really do reinforce stigma. And I think, as Victoria may have said, you know, if you have an issue, then you're seen as demonic, you're seen as unclean, you're seen as less than, and to a certain extent, it diminishes an individual's blackness to be able to say I have mental health issues. So I think that's one issue from my perspective. I think another thing in terms of perhaps people not accessing mental health institutions or seeking support is that there are a number of stories. And of course, as therapists, Esther and Emily, I'm pretty sure that you have some amazing case studies and experiences working with people where you've seen people reach a state of healing, but those conversations aren't necessarily always shown. So from where I'm sitting, I've always been told generationally about the stories of Sean Rigg, of Mikey Powell, of Colin Holt, and if you don't know those names, please Google them, and of course Roger Sylvester. So I think when you think about the interactions that these individuals have had with mental health services, and to know that seeking help may result in your death, I think that's also something else to really consider. And even though those cases are years ago, the trauma from seeing it in the news, from seeing it in the paper, I don't know if that ever really leaves. I don't know if that ever really leaves people.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that because, yes, I think a few of us, or the majority of us, are aware of the negative experiences and the quite significant events that have occurred when it comes to Black people accessing therapeutic support or mental health support. And I think that's why it's so much more important why we have to have spaces like this, where you can have the opportunity to access Black therapists, therapists who have lived experience which can relate to your own, where we can have further understanding, where we don't have that cognitive dissonance of not being able to empathize because we don't understand. What I found with my own practice is we have a significant amount of referrals. And I think what is needed is that we need to just let everyone know that the opportunity is there. There's an opportunity for a safe space. There's an opportunity for a space for you to be heard, for you to share, which is confidential. And just going by what everyone else has been saying in regards to the shame aspect of it, a lot of clients that have come and referred themselves, one of the first questions they ask is about confidentiality, because they're worried that if they're accessing the service, are their family members going to know? Is a friend going to know? Is everyone in their community going to know? And once they get that reassurance and the trust is built, then the bridges can be mended and the healing can start. But then what we found as well is once they start accessing and healing, they share, they spread the word, and then more people come. So I've had a lot of stories, I've heard a lot of stories of people coming from the NHS avenues, and they've not been very good stories that I've heard. And it's mostly because of that disconnect, that lack of understanding. And also the medical side, where they'll be given 6 weeks, and as by magic, they think that 6 weeks, everything's going to be cured, when really, after 6 weeks, that's when you start talking. So, yeah, I think it's in regards to making sure that people are aware, people in our communities are aware of all the services available to them. And I'm honestly, when Bella, when you invited me here and you told me about the Samaritans, and I can see the people here, Nathan and Prudence, I'm elated. I'm elated. I'm glad that we are being present in as many spaces as possible. And I think that's what we need to do to heal our community.
How to sign up. Visit Eventbrite page or scan Google support form.